Hello there guys and welcome, it's Niran here and today it is time for a FIFA 15 wishlist. Now I did this for F1 2014 and I did this for FIFA 14 actually before it came out last year. So basically all I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going through some of my ideas that I would like to see incorporated into FIFA 15 and also some of your ideas as well. I've seen some comments of what you guys want, and I've also been on various websites as well of what other people want, so I've taken some ideas and I've sort of mashed them together into this video. Now really, as you guys know, I'm mainly a career mode kind of guy, so a lot of these are going to be career modes. There's going to be a few Ultimate Team ones or online ones. The majority are going to be to do with offline play in terms of career mode, or just general, you know, sort of things across the board for the game, like graphics and the such like, things like that. So the first thing I'm going to go through is career mode. Now there's a lot of things that could be improved in career mode. Really, all they focused on this year was the way it looks. Really, I mean they brought in that whole new tiled look, but behind that there was nothing different. Really, I mean there was nothing majorly different incorporated into FIFA this year apart from GTN Scouts. So that's where I'm going to start. GTN Scouts, and I don't like the GTN Scout system. I hate it actually, because it gets you horrendous players. The scouts bring back players who, you aren't going to be able to buy. Like, Aston Villa brought me back Jordi Alba. Well, how am I going to sign Jordi Alba from Barcelona? Or they bring me back terrible players from League One. That's another thing as well. And I know some of them are okay, but when they're at their peak and they're playing in League One, they're probably not quite first team quality. So I think either they should just scrap it altogether and bring back the whole thing where you can see stats beforehand, or they should have a system where you can actually switch on or off the GTN scouting system before you start the career mode. I think that would be better. At least giving people the choice. If people like the GTN scouting system, leave it on for them, or give people who don't like it the opportunity to get rid of it. Either that or they need to refine it, because, you know, as I said, the people they bring back are quite awful a lot of the time. Maybe you can see a little bit more of their scouts, of their stats even, compared to nothing, because obviously you're going to be able to know a lot about a player, even if they're not that famous. You can tell, okay, they've got a bit of pace, they've got a bit of dribbling ability, as opposed to not knowing anything about them. So I think that needs to be refined slightly. I don't know how they would do that. I would personally like to see the choice method, but if they don't, not entirely sure how they would refine that. Maybe leave your suggestions in the comments section. But other things I would like to see, more in-depth news section, because all you get really is a review of the game and it just tells you the score and a generic quote from a manager. So what I would like to see is who scored the goals, who gets the assists, who was man of the match in the other games, even if I wasn't involved. You know, it's just nice information to see. You know, a little bit in depth, something that actually means something, as well as interviews meaning something. The interviews they have at the moment mean nothing. I don't bother with them in my career mode series. They do nothing, unless I think you sim, in which case they don't really do anything either. Then moving on to things like youth leagues and reserve teams, they still haven't brought that into FIFA, despite about 4 years straight of people saying they want to see actual youth squads. Not just, I mean, yeah, they've brought back youth scouting, but maybe going to see a youth game, seeing who performs the best, who gets the best amount of goals, even if they just do a season, even if they just do a glossing over of it at the end of the season, like who were the best performers in there. You know, at least that gives you an opportunity to see who's doing best in your youth team. Reserve teams, because if your players aren't playing, they just fester on the reserves. I say in inverted commas, because they don't do anything. They're in the reserves, they don't play, so I think they should have a reserves team, or even better than that, you can set up a B team like you have with RM Castilla over in Spain. I know that's not actually, I don't think it's actually legal over here yet, but maybe give that a thought. And also, actually, even better than that, if you're managing Barcelona or Real Madrid, you don't actually have to buy the players from your B team. Currently, if you manage Barcelona, you actually have to pay for the Barcelona B team players. Now, I know that might be real, that might actually happen in real life, I don't know. But it would make sense to me to either pay an extremely small fee because it's part of your team, or not to pay anything at all. It's like bringing someone up from the youth squad, isn't it, in effect, over in England. But still, I don't know. Team partnerships as well, like you have with Vitesse and Vitesse Arnhem over in Holland, and Chelsea, where Chelsea just go and, you know, send like 18 loan players over. That would be quite beneficial. You know, at the start of a season, you know you're going to be able to loan out a few of the young players. Also, this is another thing. Loaning out players is so much harder than it was on FIFA 13. Like, it will take either the majority of a transfer window to get them out, or they just won't. Most of the time, about 50% of the players I put out on the loan list actually get loaned out, which isn't good, really. it's not good, you know, and I sort of feel like, well, I'm going to put them on the loan list, but they won't go out anyway. Because there's no reserve system, they won't get games, they won't go up stats, they won't reach their potential. So it's sort of a really bad situation. You can't loan them out. There needs to be one or the other. Anyway, the next one is a very small thing, but the number font changing on the back of a shirt when you get promoted. I mean, it's just the small things, you know, making the effort and stuff on career mode. Because sometimes you feel as if career mode gets a little bit rejected when in comparison to the online mode. Obviously, Ultimate Team makes EA the money, but still, you'd like to see, from a career mode perspective, we're getting a little bit more recognition, because you know that was the Ultimate Team of old FIFAs, you know. But nevertheless, sponsorship deals that get better as you progress as a manager or as a team as you rise through the ranks or rise through the leagues. If you get promoted from League 2 to League 1, obviously the sponsorship deals will get better. Now this is an optimistic one, but when you retire as a manager, something actually happens. When you reach the end of the 15 years on career mode, you can become a chairman, you can become an owner. You can sort out the managers who, you know, you can deal with transfer budgets, you can fire managers, you can hire managers, you can obviously still sim, or maybe play the games, maybe sim, I don't know, whatever they choose, but actually have something happen after that. Because obviously you do get sometimes managers going upstairs up to the board or such, like boardroom level. So I don't know whether they'd be able to incorporate stuff like sorting out sponsorship deals, building new stadiums, building new training facilities, and stuff like that as the owner. It would make sense to me as opposed to just nothing happening, but nevertheless, that would be really good. Attending youth games, that would be brilliant, not only for your team but also free agents. You know, on Football Manager, where you have a situation where you can go and watch free agent youth teams in effect and scout them and bring them to your club. That would be really good. Maybe not just watch them, but you know, see a sim report or something like that. Contract clauses, when you're signing players, like buyout clauses, sell-on clauses, all of that sort of nonsense. Conversations with players, so they can't just say, oh, I want to leave and that's final. You can actually have a conversation, you know, saying I'll give you a better wage, or I don't have the money to offer you a new wage, can you wait until the next transfer window? Something like that. Awards like the Ballon d'Or or Player of the Year, PFA Player of the Year in certain countries, all of that. Team rankings like the Coca-Cola International rankings, I think they're called. Used to have it on FIFA actually, I think. And used to have it on PES, but it's not on FIFA anymore. You know, just to give another aspect to international management, because that's got a little bit boring now as well. I think you need to also introduce under 21 or youth level international management to that as well. Not just international management, they have a bit more depth to that, because it does get a little bit boring at times. Unpredictable growth. You can't just decide or see, oh yeah, he's going to have 85 potential, blah blah blah. Now that might not be very popular with some people, because obviously some people would like, you know, a pretty linear, you know, growth, you know, so you know where they're going to grow to, you know, all that sort of stuff. But in real life, you don't get that. I mean, look at Aaron Ramsey. I know he got injured, but a few years ago, you would never have said that he would, effectively single-handedly carry Arsenal to what would have been, you know, at least fighting for the title if he'd have stayed fit. You know, so it was unpredictable. At the start of the season, Aaron Ramsey was maybe a bit part player, someone you'd find in the team that wouldn't have much of an effect, and suddenly he's become one of their, you know, probably, if not their best player, one of their best 3 players. So that's, you know, a bit of an unpredictable side to it, or sudden growth in a certain season, not just a linear scale. The recently moved glitch is really annoying. For those who don't know what that is, basically when you update the new, when you get the new updates halfway through the season, players who had recently moved at the start or before the updates are still classed as recently moved. And basically what it is you end up with about half the player roster having recently moved, and you just can't sign many players basically. And yeah, I've been pretty much through everything else. More countries in youth scouting, not really that important because we have got quite a few anyway. And sort out fixture congestion, because there's some points where I'm getting like literally probably about 3 games in 5 days. I've had back-to-back games once. 2 games in 2 days. I'm sorry, that never happens. It's just stupid. You can have times where you got 2 games in 3 days, and then a week afterwards where you got nothing, and it's not even an international break. Well, why not spread it out a little bit more? They just need to sort that out past the first season. So after that, we're going to just move on to the generic stuff like graphics. I'll sort of gloss over some of this stuff. Creating stadiums, that would be really good. People have been asking that for ages, but EA don't seem to listen to that one. I don't know whether it's because they can't bring it in or whether they're choosing not to bring it in, I don't know. Hopefully with the next gen capabilities they'll be able to do more of this stuff. Other than that, we've got pitch deterioration. So, you know, during a game, the pitch maybe gets a little bit muddy, or muddier at lower levels. Random weather changes, it always seems to be the same. Sometimes you could just maybe have a downpour. Not necessarily games getting postponed, that would be a bit stupid and a bit of a waste of time for people, although it would be more realistic. But just sudden, you know, changes in the weather would be quite nice. Club creator, people have been asking for that for a while now. Kit creators, again, people have been asking that for a while. That's sort of quite a, you know, that's quite a self-explanatory sort of thing. Better cutscenes. When it came to next gen, we didn't really get many more cutscenes. And also, just another small thing, the whole thing where people run to get the ball for a throw-in, sometimes you just know they're not going to get the ball, so can we just skip ahead to the throw-in sort of thing? That can be a little bit annoying at times, but I don't really mind. Better celebrations, group celebrations, you know, where players actually have a group huddle at the end of it instead of two players sort of jumping on each other's backs or something like that. Been through random weather changes, real managers on the touchline, and faster menus like Jesus Christ, the menus on career mode are horrendous. Other than that, they're brilliant, but on career mode they're quite awful. Just a generic thing. FIFA has sort of gone a little bit too realistic. I don't know whether you guys agree with this, but I prefer fun over realism, and I think that was summed up this year, or was it last year? I think it was this year, where they brought in the first touch control. I think it was last year, actually. And that, for me, ruined FIFA to a certain extent, because it's just so annoying. It's realistic, yes, people do miscontrol the ball, but A, not on a regular basis like on the game. I mean, it's literally every touch for anyone who doesn't have above 80 ball control. It's ridiculous, or when you're sprinting. I mean, that just doesn't happen. And it just makes it so much more frustrating. It's not fun. It's not fun, it's just frustrating, and it really annoys me. After that, again, you guys know I'm not much of a guy for Ultimate Team, based on my Ultimate Noob series even, sort of in the name. Slight noob when it comes to Ultimate Team, but still I've got a few points on that. Not losing contracts and fitness during disconnections. That's quite annoying. I don't play much Ultimate Team. When I have, I've had plenty of disconnections due to the EA servers, and that is quite annoying. I don't understand, it's wasted my time. A lot of the time you don't even get a point. You don't even get a points increase or a loss. It just doesn't count. The game just doesn't count. So why should the contracts and the fitness count if the game doesn't count? I don't understand that personally. It's just a loss of logic, really. Better matchmaking system in Ultimate Team. I've got gameplay for this Ultimate Noob series, and I am pretty confident there is not a matchmaking system. You know, I've ended up with my starter bronze squad playing full 5-star rare gold teams, and I'm sorry, that's just not right. That's just wrong. Just completely wrong. I suggested that with saying it wasn't right, but still, that's not what I meant to say. Creating kits for pro clubs. Again, pro clubs is one of those game modes that just seems to be getting completely overlooked at the moment. That would be really nice. And a refined searching system in Ultimate Team. In the last 2 months, the searching system on Ultimate Team for players has just completely broken. So that really needs to be refined, because you're just ending up with one page of search results from the most common players ever, and it's just completely stupid. And finally, just a few more leagues that I think they need to bring in. I'll go over quickly because I know this video has been a bit longer than I would have anticipated it to be. But the leagues I'd like to see them bring in: the Ukrainian League, obviously I know they brought in Shakhtar Donetsk, but actually the rest of them, Dynamo Kiev have a few pretty decent players, Dnipro, like Yevgen Konoplyanka and stuff. The Turkish League, because I'm pretty sure that's not licensed. The Romanian League, because again that's got a few decent teams. The Serbian League and the Croatian League would be quite nice as well. So I'm hoping you've enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe if you did, and comment about enjoying it if you enjoyed this video that much. They're just a few of my ideas. If you want to leave any more ideas in the comment section, feel free to do so. I will try and read them all and reply to them. If they're good, I'll like them as well, whatever floats your boat. But it's been an absolute pleasure ranting at you guys today. I hope you have a great day. Enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.